You apologize before you even finish the sentence. Your voice softens halfway through a thought. Your body leans back, subtly, as if to make room for others, even when no one asked you to move. Sorry. You say it when you speak. You say it when you breathe. You say it when you exist. And maybe no one has ever stopped you to ask why. You apologize when someone bumps into you. You apologize when you ask a question. You apologize when you need clarification. You apologize when you feel something too strongly, or not strongly enough. And somewhere deep inside, it feels safer to do so, because apologizing doesn't feel like weakness. It feels like prevention, like insurance, like saying, I promise I won't be a problem. You learned, slowly, quietly, that taking up space came with consequences, that needs created tension, that emotions disrupted the room, that it was easier to smooth things over than to risk rejection. So you became skilled, socially intelligent, emotionally aware. You learned to read the air before speaking. You learned to apologize before anyone could accuse you. And here is the paradox. The behavior that once protected you is now the thing quietly erasing you. But once kept you connected is now disconnecting you from your anger, your desires, your boundaries, your truth. This isn't about manners. This is about survival. And to understand it, we need to go back to where this pattern was born. People who apologize too much are often praised. They're seen as kind, thoughtful, emotionally mature. But psychology tells a deeper story. Excessive apologizing is frequently rooted in emotional hypervigilance, a state where the nervous system is constantly scanning for threat, disapproval, or relational rupture. This pattern often emerges from emotional neglect, not necessarily abuse. Emotional neglect is subtle. It doesn't leave bruises. It leaves confusion. It's what happens when a child's feelings are minimized, ignored, or inconsistently responded to. When love is present but conditional. When approval feels earned, not given. In these environments, the child adapts. They may develop parentification, where they become emotionally responsible for others, monitoring moods, reducing conflict, stabilizing the emotional climate. They learn, if I stay agreeable, things stay calm. This creates hypervigilance, a nervous system locked into alertness. The body becomes a radar. Tone shifts are detected instantly. Silences feel dangerous. Tension feels like a personal failure. Over time, this rewires the brain's default mode network, the system responsible for self-referential thought. Instead of asking, what do I feel? The mind asks, how am I being perceived? Identity becomes externally calibrated. In attachment theory, this often aligns with anxious or fearful avoidant attachment, where connection feels fragile and must be constantly maintained through appeasement. Apologizing becomes a tool, a reflex, a preemptive strike against abandonment. Not because you are weak, but because you are attuned, too attuned. Carl Jung once said, "The greatest burden a child must bear is the unlived life of its parents." But there is another burden we talk about less, the unlived life of the self. When you apologize too much, you are often mourning something you never got to be, unfiltered, unedited, unafraid. This creates invisible grief. You grieve the version of yourself that didn't need to soften every edge. You grieve the anger you swallowed, the joy you muted, the needs you negotiated down to nothing. You trade authenticity for belonging, again and again, in small moments that don't seem dramatic until they accumulate. You hesitate before speaking. You dilute your opinions. You apologize for your emotions. You apologize for your silence. you apologize for your presence. The core fear underneath it all is simple, but profound. If I am fully myself, I will be too much or not enough. This fear infiltrates daily life. Ordering food becomes an apology. Asking for help feels like an imposition. Rest feels undeserved. Boundaries feel like betrayal. You live with a constant low-grade anxiety, not loud, not obvious, but persistent, a background hum of self-monitoring. Philosophers like Seneca warned against this kind of inner servitude. No man is free who is not master of himself. And yet, how can you master yourself when you were never allowed to have yourself in the first place? These patterns don't disappear with age. They evolve. They become personalities until you look closer. You might recognize yourself here. In relationships, you apologize for having needs. You over-explain your feelings. You stay longer than you should. You confuse harmony with intimacy. They become adults who mistake self-erasure for love. In career, you hesitate to advocate for yourself. You downplay your achievements. You say sorry before sharing ideas. You tolerate being overlooked. In self-worth, your value feels conditional. You feel good enough only when useful. You internalize others' discomfort as failure. In boundaries, you struggle to say no without guilt. You apologize for protecting your time. You feel responsible for others' reactions. In emotional regulation, your nervous system rarely rests. You replay conversations. You anticipate conflict that never comes. In internal identity, you don't fully know who you are, only who you are in relation to others. But here is the crucial reframe. These are coping mechanisms, not character flaws. Your system did exactly what it was designed to do: keep you connected. Healing begins not with self-criticism, but with witnessing. Not why am I like this, but what did this protect me from? Unlearning starts the moment you stop gaslighting your own experience.